Hello, welcome all in this session. So this is a very important session in which we will discuss some fundamental questions. What is sustainability and why it is important? In one of our previous video, we had also discussed about the definition of sustainability and the concept comparing it with magical pot. So there was one example. So if you want to watch this video, you can click over right corner, top right corner now, and you can view that video. Okay, so let's move ahead. And in this video, so very fundamental question. So what is sustainability? What we are looking into that and why it is important to understand this issue. So we will dive into these matters. So let us start with our first question. What is sustainability? Right? So first thing about sustainability is when we say that it is a long-term thinking. Sustainability is all about when we are planning about long-term, when we are thinking about long-term. Okay, and the burnt land definition also for sustainable development. So it is fulfilling our needs so that the future generations will also be able to fulfill their needs. In short, the burnt land definition, right? So that is all about long-term. So sustainability is all about long-term, right? So if we want to understand that, I have just taken this. This is a graph from one of the very important report that was published in 1972, Limits to Growth. This was a study, and in this report, this is one graph and which talks about the problems that we as a human beings face. So everyone faces the problem, right? Right from any ordinary person to up to the president of the country also. So everyone faces the problem. But here you can see on the x-axis there is time. So for what time we are concerned about, or our problems are concerned about, or what timeline, right? And on the y-axis you can see the space. So how much geography that we are concerned about. So most of the people, if we see, they will be focusing only about what is about next week or next month, next year, and only about their family or neighborhood, right? So at the bottom left corner you can see. So these are the quadrant where normal ordinary people are concerned about. But if we see, there are few people who think about what about our complete lifetime. What about our children's lifetime? What about our grandchildren's lifetime? So these are the questions that come in the sustainability domain. And on the y-axis, on the space. So if someone is thinking about overall world, okay, overall country, so he or she is coming under this top quadrant, we can say. So this top and this right. So this is the top right corner where we want to focus on. So sustainability issues or sustainability, when we are holding the discussion on these topics, so most of the times we are talking about going to this top right corner. We want to think about long term, and also we want to think about over the larger people. So it's not only about us, only about our family. It is the overall well-being of the people. Okay, so after this point, let us move to the second point about sustainability, and that is the pragmatic use of the resources. So let us see in detail, because the availability of the resources is very important for all, and the accessibility. So each and every person should be able to avail the resources and access the resources for uplifting their life. And second is, whenever we are consuming the resources, as we know, the global population has increased tremendously during the last 100 years. So there is a lot of imbalance in the nature due to our excessive extraction and our accumulation of the waste. So somewhere we are harming the balance of the ecology. So the sustainability will demand us to use these resources in a pragmatic way. These are not renewable resources, right? So these are non-renewable resources, and they will extinct sometime. we should have that in our mind when we are considering the use of these resources. So this is also very important part of the sustainability. Then third part is about respect and regard for all living forms or living beings, right? Why that is so? We need to understand that all living forms, whether it is trees, microorganisms, animals, everyone, everything is important for the well-being, for the atmosphere that we are living, the livable atmosphere we can say for this. Each and every living form is essential. We should understand that. We should have that respect and regard for all other living creatures. And second point in this is we need to appreciate that we are just a part of this whole system. We are not the owners of the earth. We don't own this. Okay, so we need to think on that. We need to behave like that. This is not our all. We do not own this earth. Okay, we are just a part of this great fascinating system. These are all things that comes under the sustainability. So sustainability, it is not only related to just publishing some reports or sustainability standards or only about discussion points. So when sustainability is there, these points are always going to be there, and we should think about all these issues whenever we talk about sustainability. And next is, I have cleared some of the points, but still there might be some question why it is important. Okay, why we need to discuss these issues and what is the urgency, right? So these are some points that I want to discuss with you. Okay, so this will ensure that we understand this issue in a better way. First point is the population. We know the world population has been increased tremendously, right? So we are harming the environment, we are harming the nature by two ways. First, we are extracting more than the capacity of the earth. We are extracting much more than that. And second is, we are depositing so much waste that earth cannot handle that. Okay, there are many reports that talk about the plastic accumulation in the oceans, right? In some future time, so there will be more we can say plastic than the fish. So you might have read that reports as well. So these are all issues that come when we are having our excessive consumption. So these all points are interrelated with each other. You cannot see any point isolated. Okay, so as population has risen or it is more, due to that the pollution is more. The second point we came to. So the pollution of, let's say, toxic chemicals, plastic, or the plastic pollution in the ocean, so that is also there. The e-waste issues. So these are multiple factors. These are all interacting elements with each other. Then third is resource depletion, and we all see this kind of depletion in our day-to-day life as well. The water scarcity. The water is not available during the summer, and many of the cities throughout the world are declared that they don't have water. They are not supporting in the summer. Second is soil degradation. Soil is deteriorating. So these are some of the issues. Air pollution, food shortage. And if you observe these 4 points, that is water, soil, air and food. So these are absolute requirement to our living. So please understand the importance, how important these are to preserve, to conserve, right? Then sustainability is also important because the consumption pattern has changed during past few decades, we can say. First is more and more consumption. So everyone, we are living in consumeristic world, we can say. So everyone is consuming more and more resources, more and more plastic packaging. So earlier times it was not this much packaging material used, but currently we are using and we are doing it and we are overdoing it. So that is the problem. And third, we can say the myopic. It's very short-term view from the industries. They are not looking for the long-term benefit of the society where they are working, or the benefit of the environment. They are ignoring that. And fourth is design for the dump. So this is one of the strategy that companies are working on. So they are obsoleting the product. Okay, so they are designing for dump, they are designing for failure, so that new product can be launched into the market, so people will buy again. So this is one of these strategy from there. The Moore's law is also there, we can discuss it in another time also. But these are some of the issues with which the consumption pattern has changed. It has risen tremendously. Okay, and the last point, an important point, is the climate change. The higher carbon dioxide concentration or greenhouse gases concentration in the atmosphere. And we can also see these climate change in many of the frequent natural disasters. The disasters are happening more frequent and with high intensity. So both are the issues. We can observe this. So irrespective of in which part of world you are, you might have seen this kind of climate change, this kind of events that are happening. The global average temperature has been rising and it is more than 1 degree Celsius. The drought and the floods, so they are occurring more and more. So these are some of the points that we need to focus on, we need to think, so that we will understand that why this sustainability is so important. And to memorize this or to remember these 5 points, so I have kept it PP for pollution, population pollution, PPR, R for resource depletion, CC. So PPRCC. So this is just a short mnemonic that we can remember. So whenever we talk about these issues, so population, due to that the pollution is there, also resource depletion is there, consumption patterns are changing, and overall the effect is on climate change. So in this video, in this just short video, I have just tried to cover some of the points and try to make you understand why it is so important and why we all should work on this, why we should devote some time of our lives for this cause. Okay, so I hope it is somewhat clear to you now, and meet you again in our next session. Thank you so much for joining this video. Let us create a sustainable world. Thank you so much. Have a great day. Thank you.